Thank you very much, everybody. Whenever you're speaking in front of a crowd, make sure that you are well hydrated. I've done this enough to know it's not a good thing just to come up on stage, especially if you're speaking for about 30 minutes, not to have something to drink. And if I need a top up, I will ask for one. So today I'm talking about something that I'm very passionate about, and it's really cool to see the 60 seconds that you're all giving. And if ever you're given the chance to come up on stage and give a 60 seconds, do it. Yeah? Because if you're here for business, you're missing an opportunity, because you don't know who's in the audience, or better yet, who they know. So everybody that stood up and did their 60 seconds, I commend you, because it takes courage to do that. But more so, I think it shows your passion as well, that you are willing to go the extra mile. And especially you coming in, Lynn, a bit later, being put on the spot. It's a good thing, guys. So make sure every opportunity that you do stand up on stage and tell people about your business, because the confidence and the courage that you show is what people buy into. Does that make sense? Before they buy into your product, before they buy into your service, they buy into you. And you've probably heard it, people buy from people. Yeah? I believe in that wholeheartedly. You have to be the one that connects people to your dots, to your products and services. So I'm going to be speaking mostly about marketing, and for most of you who don't know me, I'm a resident of Wolverhampton, and I have been my whole life, and I actually used to go to the high school behind this hotel, Colton Hill School, which is quite interesting actually. And so when Cassim got in touch with me and said, I'd like for you to speak at one of our events, and then he said it was at the Parkwell Hotel, I was like, wow, no, that I used to walk this way to school like for many years. And so, as the title says, it's all about how you can create marketing that smashes through run-of-the-mill tactics and delivers a no bullshit result. Yeah? And I say this stuff with passion. And if I offend you, I apologize. And if it's not right for you, fair enough. Yeah? But I'm here to help you. That's my purpose. Yeah? I've been in business since 2004 was when I first set up my first sole trader business. And so there's a thing or two that I know, and there's a thing or two that I want to share with you. So, how many of you, first of all, are business owners or entrepreneurs in the room? Yeah? And how many of you are employees of a business? Okay, so we've got the majority and we've got some employees, that's cool. I just want to make sure I'm speaking to the right people, that's the first thing. And so, how many of you would like to have more clients in your business from your marketing? Yeah? Good, I expect all of you to have your hands up at that point, including Chris. And so, the key thing for me is, I want to make sure that I'm delivering something that adds value to what you do in your business. And I want to start off with online marketing, give you some stats. You can see here we have a stat about the UK. 65 million people in the UK. This is of since January 2017. Internet users, 60 million. Yeah. Active social media users, 42 million. Then we have mobile subscriptions, that people with a mobile, either contract or pay-as-you-go, we have 73 million. And then active mobile users of social, 37, yeah. So the thing with online is that there's a lot of people, and I'm only focusing on the UK with this particular chart, just so you guys get an idea, because I don't want it blown out of proportion for you to think worldwide. But there are customers online, and I expect most of you probably have a Facebook account, yeah? LinkedIn maybe. Twitter maybe, yeah, Instagram, yeah, Snapchat, yeah. I expect you to have one of those, especially if you are in business. So, social network sites. Now, I just wanted to, again, just to give you guys some idea of the depth of people that you can access. So, Facebook is the king. At the time of this take, and this was January, there was 1.8 billion. There are now 2 billion registered users on Facebook. The second is WhatsApp as the second most popular social platform. And then we have Facebook Messenger, which is quite interesting. And then there are some other ones which are more to do with international markets that I'm not going to go into. And the very final one that I've got on here is Snapchat. Twitter's down at the bottom, 317. I think it's probably near about 400 million now. But the point I'm getting to is that there are a lot of people online. Yeah, and we all know this, is that right? Yeah, cool. So here we are, another one, number of monthly active Facebook users, and you can see that it's as I said, it's 2 billion. So this is from the second quarter of this year. There's a lot of people, and you're probably thinking, well, yeah, that's cool, that's pretty obvious, Leon. And it's like, yeah, it is. And I'm getting there. I'm going to take you there, guys. So, do you know who your customers are? Yeah? Do you know what age range they're in? Yeah? I'm sure some of you serve a particular target audience. Now, everybody who came up, I tried to make a log of who you were and what you did. So there was a lady who spoke about mortgages. She's probably going to be speaking to people, I don't know, about 25 plus at least, maybe an average of about 30. There was a lady who came up about tuition. She's going to be speaking to parents, because I don't think the kids would probably want to sign up to extra classes. But your target is going to be parents. The parents are going to be, what, probably 30, mid-30s with that type of age of child. I'm 37, my son's 10, so I know it's going to be about that age. But the cool thing is that you can see the demographic spread that you have with Facebook. The big numbers are 18 to 24 here, yeah. Then we have 25 to 34, and then 35 to 44, 45 to 54. Now these numbers, they might not seem like much in terms of a percentage, but we're talking about 2 billion people on Facebook, yeah. So even when the numbers are small, the numbers are actually huge in terms of reach. Now, does anybody serve customers internationally here? Cool. Yeah, that's good, that's good. I expect the majority of you to serve at least within the UK or locally. Is that right? Yeah, good. So, where I want to take you next. Here's the real story then. So I've showed you these numbers, and they do come across like pretty cool. But here's the thing. It's not your fault that you're not doing as well as you expect to be doing. And I'm making an assumption here, because people tell you all the time about these numbers. They're like, millions of people, and you're like, yeah, millions of people, and you're like, but the bank's not saying 1 million. Yeah? You're sold this crap all the time. Get on social media, do this. The thing is, you can do this, but you need the right strategy. Yeah, that's why the title of this talk is Breaking Through the Tactics. And I want you at the end of this to understand the difference between strategy and tactics, yeah, and it will serve you. And as I said, you can do this. There are hidden enemies, and the hidden enemies are the people that are coming at you and saying, get online, do this, do that, invest in this, waste your time, figure out this, figure out that. Those are things called tactics. They haven't said to you, what's your goal, where are you headed, and how are you going to do it? How are you going to serve your customers' needs or fix their problems? Yeah? How much time have you spent on that in your business?
2 years.
Excellent. How about the rest of you? Yeah? And I could hazard a guess, probably not as much as you've done spending time on Facebook, spending time on LinkedIn, updating things that are to do with tactics. I'd really like to know how much of that time you've spent in terms of strategy and understanding your customer. That's the key, guys. So you should be suspicious of people saying to you, as it says in point number 4, of doing these things first. Yeah, you need to understand the steps. If you understand the rules of the game, you get the results. So here's the thing, with that in mind, I understand that you have dreams, and I understand that you have goals, and I'm here to help you to get towards those today. And that's what it's all about, guys. It's not about a magic wand. I wish there was, but there isn't, guys. Believe you and me. Believe you and me, there isn't. You hear these success stories, overnight success stories, but what most people miss is the 20 years that happened before that. Does that make sense? Yeah? The numbers are big, but you've got to work the rules. Okay, so I'm Leon Streete, and my journey started out as being a DJ. When I was 14, I used to play records, 12-inch vinyl, not MP3s. Started out as record vinyl. That's where I come from. And it was my passion. I wanted more people to hear me. So how could I do that? Set up a website. So at 17 in 1997, I set up my first website after 2 days of figuring it out. Yeah. There's one thing I found out about myself. I'm very creative in coming up with solutions. Very creative. So within 2 days it was done. And so the website was a success, people started to get in touch with me, not because I was a DJ, but because they liked my website. So I was like, okay, fine. But because of it, it helped me to get to places and speak to more people. And so as a result, in the past 3 years, after setting up my first business in 2004, and before that it was more like creating websites was a hobby, and I'd make a bit of extra money here and there, which was cool. So the past 3 years I've focused more. I've started to look at what is it that will make me a success, and so I've started to look into the people who've got the results. I was saying this, I was actually speaking to Pushpa. Where are you? Just so I can see. There you are. Oh, she was here. I was speaking to her earlier, so that some of you probably know her, and I was saying I was speaking to my son, and I was saying to my son, only trust people who've got the result in the thing that you want to achieve, Ruben. Yeah? Don't take advice from me, your teacher, or anybody else who hasn't got the result in the thing you want to do. It's like asking your grandma to give you advice about football and she's never played in a football team. Yeah? It's the same for you as a business owner or an employee. Get your advice from somebody who's been there before. So what I did, I started interviewing successful people. This is me and Rob on the right hand side, my co-host of a podcast that I hosted. In the middle, very successful British businessman. And then I started to meet other people. This is Frank Kern, labelled as the world's #1 internet marketer. Then I actually paid £2,500 for 25 minutes with the world's #1 wealth coach. The watch that he's got on his wrist is worth $1.2 million. I wanted to find out about people who've been successful, so I went to the people who've been successful. This is a successful entrepreneur from Wales, Lyndon Wood. His company, well, his net worth is £30 million from an insurance company. Yeah. And the way that he grew his business was buying other insurance companies that were failing. It's such an awesome story when you hear it. Here's another one with me, and the guy labelled as the $9 billion man. And you could probably guess why he's got that label, Jay Abram. He's known as the godfather of marketing. Here's a friend of mine, Adam Stott. He's 33, and within 8 years of going from selling cars in his parents' spare bedroom, his business is now turned over £40 million. And this is him interviewing me. This is me with somebody you may know, recognize, Gary Vaynerchuk. Again, going to these people, seeking the knowledge, wanting to get answers. Here I am with, this is a special one actually. I'm in Miami, in his TV studio, Grant Cardone, worth $500 million. Go to the people, get the answers. And this is me with an award that I actually won for the podcast that me and Rob set up after 9 months. So what I found is that my DJing days and producing music actually came back to help me when we launched our podcast. If you don't know what a podcast is, it's like having a radio show that's recorded and then put online for other people to download freely. Within 9 months, we'd won the best UK British business podcast. And I know Chris was competing with me at the time as well. So there you go, guys. I went out, got the knowledge, and then 3 years ago, as I said, started getting focused. And I set up a business called Business Owner Elevation with 2 partners, Phil and Rob in the middle. And we help people with marketing strategy, online marketing, sales, and online course creation. Everything that a person needs to be successful. So these are our banners on the left and right, the red ones. And I do have a focus on coaches. I do have a focus, but our clients include small business owners as well. So here's another example, and the final one is just showing you that what I've learned in my past 20 years since I was 17 and I started to figure out internet marketing, the stuff I'm talking about today, this is me with a room full of millionaires in Las Vegas in a private suite. And this was something that I landed with a very successful lady. Have you ever heard of a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Yeah. So the co-author of that, most people know Robert Kiyosaki, but there's actually a co-author, and her name is Sharon Lechter. She also co-authored a book called Think and Grow Rich for Women. She sold over 30 million books. So she hired me to come here and help her private mentorship group that she coaches. But all of them, as I said, millionaires. So here I am training them. I'm showing you this just so you know who's in front of you. You know when I said go and speak to the people with results? Yeah. So if I can help these guys, I'm sure I can help you guys. Is that right?
Thank you.
Good, good, excellent. So in all of that, I've done a lot of things right and I've done a lot of things wrong, yeah? And here's the big discovery, guys. Getting consistent leads, clients and cash can be made simple using the Vortex V3 methodology. This is a methodology that we've created in our business, at Business Owner Elevation, yeah? We sat down, we looked at what works, and we came up with this solution after getting results with our clients and realizing that every time we run it, every time we follow through, every time the client does the things we show them, we get results for them. So my goal for you in this talk is basically the only way that you can achieve true marketing success is through the V3 methodology. Yeah, and the only way you get access to that is through one of our programs, the main program called the Vortex program. Yeah, this is a program that we run to put people on. But what I'm going to do is take you through the 7 key pillars today. So what I want to emphasize is that the days of easy and cheap traffic are long gone. I'm sure Chris can atone to this. Like, go back 10 years and you could be #1 on Google in like a week, probably less sometimes. Those days are long gone. Yeah. So marketing needs to convert, guys. Why does it need to convert? Anybody? Just shout it out.
Sales.
Sales, money. Pardon? Return on investment. Yeah, build your list. All of the above, guys. That's exactly it. How many of you would like to do more of what you've just said? Yeah, I'm sure everybody. That is the goal. So my results, I just want to make it clear, guys, that I'm going to talk you through the exact system that we use to get results for our clients. I'm not really going to focus on, you know, what I've done in particular, because I want you to understand that anybody who attends a free workshop like this, you're not going to exactly get the same results. It takes time. Yeah, it takes being coached and mentored by somebody like me to guide you. But you're gonna learn the exact steps that I get results in. Yeah. So what's working for us? So here it is. So 7 pillars. As I said, I'm going to take you through our key system V3. Pillar number 1 is how to overcome overwhelm. Has anybody ever been in overwhelm in business? Like, what the heck? Yeah, yeah. I know it happens a lot. Yeah, I know it happens a lot with my clients as well. They're like, where do we go next? But I'm going to show you how to overcome that. Stay focused while building your business. So the first thing is around beliefs. Now, would you guys say that you have a strong belief about your business? Yeah, pretty strong. Yeah, it's the key thing, guys. Now, here's another thing, and it's just come to me. Have you ever been like, you know, or having one of those days where your belief isn't as strong, yeah, as it could be? Yeah, I have that even now. It's like sometimes you're just like, like, I'm not sure. But what I've found is that more and more, especially in the past 3 years, it doesn't happen so much. And there's 2 key things when it comes to belief. You either don't think you deserve it, whatever that is, or you don't think you can pull it off. 2 key things. So those days when you're actually feeling like, the belief's not as strong, maybe that day you just feel for whatever reason I don't deserve it. Maybe, you know, I'm being lazy, and therefore if I'm being a bit lazy, I don't deserve it. Yeah. Or somebody else is doing something that you're looking at is a bit better than you, and you're thinking, maybe they deserve it. Yeah. You know that conversation you have when you're with yourself and nobody else is actually having that conversation, it's just you. It's that one I'm speaking about, that belief. And the thing is, you can pull it off, you just need to know the correct steps, guys. Yeah, that's why we all get books, we go to seminars, we learn things. It's because we're seeking answers constantly, whether it's on, you know, relationships, time, money, business, life. We're always seeking answers. Yeah, I found answers in my marketing and what I do. The next step is your values, and this is massively important. You're thinking, well, why is Leon talking about beliefs and values, and this is meant to be about online marketing? Yeah. As I go through this, guys, you'll see more and more why it's important. And it's the thing that most people don't focus on. And I could be wrong, but I've asked this question so many times. People nod their heads, hold their hands up and say, yep, this is true. I haven't spent as much time on this part of the business. I've set up a Facebook profile and I've done the LinkedIn profile, but haven't really spent much time on this part, and that's okay. So, What do you value and what are you prepared to go for? That's the key thing, yeah? For me, and I was speaking to Phil, my business partner, recently about this. We were recording a podcast actually, and I said for me, the biggest reason why I left a £40,000 job, you know, I literally worked half a day a week, even though I was in the office 5 days a week, yeah? We were getting results. I was managing 12 people, but the reason why I left it was freedom. That's my biggest value. Yeah, for me to have choice and freedom to do what I'm passionate about. And I remember at the time people were saying to me, Leon, why would stay in the job, just keep it going? Literally I only had to work half a day a week. I was a development manager at the University of Wolverhampton. I'd turn up, 9 to 5, but literally the amount of work I did every week was half a day. And it's because I'd systemized the way we got results with our team. We were always ahead in our results. And, it worked as a business should. I think the definition of a business is a commercial, profitable organization that works without me. Well, it kind of did. It worked with me half a day a week. Yeah? So it was working. So what I say to you is look at what your values are. So my values were strong enough for me to say, actually, no, I've got to go set up a business and do what I'd started as a hobby in 2004 and then back in 97 when I set up a website. So there's 3 key things here when it comes to beliefs and values. Beliefs are like the car, yeah? The values are the fuel in your car. The strategy, which is what I was talking about, is you, the driver. But you, the driver, must know where you're going. Yeah, and in this day and age, we all have access to Google Maps, is that right? Yeah, but you need that in your business. It's like, what's giving you the direction in your business when it comes to your marketing? So, strategy. This is the part where you understand the difference between strategy and tactics. Now, I think you're probably starting to get there now. So, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of these things, they're tactics. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if the strategy is you, where you're going, is it clear how you can separate the two? So you've got Facebook and all that stuff here where you do updates, YouTube videos, but where you're going is down to you and understanding your customers. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the thing with the strategy is that rarely changes. So for instance, Facebook might have an update, Google might have an update that changes the way you market on those platforms. But your strategy is going to remain the same if you're serving that same type of customer. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So your strategy, if you think about this for a second, must be pretty important. Will you agree? Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah. But how much time do you invest in that? How much importance do you put into that? Realistically? I'm not saying there's a wrong or right. I'm just saying ask yourself the question. If you want to stand up and share, that's up to you. But anyway, strategy. And so just to finish off on that last point, the overwhelm is because you haven't put the time into what your strategy is. Does that make sense? Yeah, you haven't focused on that. You're kind of moving with the flow of the river, but you haven't said, actually, let me just come over here on the bank and actually decide what direction I'm going, whether it is with the river or going against the river. And that might be just because that's where your strategy leads you. Cool. So pillar number 2, how to establish a profitable niche so you can raise your fees and get paid what you're worth. Does anybody want to be paid more? Yeah? Cool. Does anyone want to be paid less? So everybody who didn't put their hands up, like, where are you? Just want to stay the same. That's all right. That's cool. That's cool. So, yeah, that's cool. So the issue, you need to focus on what the problems and needs are of your audience. You need to find a market where customers are already buying. And you're probably thinking, well, yeah, that's obvious, or maybe it's not. I've heard some people say, actually, I want to go into a market where there's no competitors. I just go there and it's just completely just me. But you know what you'll find? Nobody. Tumbleweed, crickets. The reason why your competitors aren't there, because people aren't buying there. So you find a market where there are already customers. You then find a sub-market. So as an example, wealth would be a top market. A sub-market would be accountants. Does that make sense? Yeah? So, for instance, wealth, the lady who did mortgages, that would be a sub-market. Then we have tuition. So we would have here There's wealth, health, and relationships. I'd still put that in wealth because it's training people, but then you're going into tuition because it's wealth for you. We have art. Same thing, I believe it would actually fit into wealth and obviously fine art, what you mentioned. So that's your first step. You understand the market, and then the niche. So the niche is generally the characteristics or demographics of your audience. Does that make sense? So when somebody says to you, what's your niche? You need to think about the demographics or the characteristics of your audience. That's the key. So when you stand up, and this is important actually, when you do your 60 seconds, what I would say to you is that when you're focusing on it, focus on your niche. If you have more than one business, make sure those other businesses are definitely in the same niche, because when you stand up, people have a hard time remembering that you have 2 or 3 businesses. Yeah, they just about remember what you said about the one. So stand up, and when you do your pitch, as an example could be, I help small business accountants who turn over 250 to 500,000 in the West Midlands, wanting to move to the 7-figure mark. Yeah, that could be one angle that I go after as a niche. Does that make sense? So when you're speaking to people, what's your niche? And the cool thing about this is when you go into these characteristics, you're actually filtering down, and people actually start working it out. Who do I know? Subconsciously. Yeah? And if you're saying that constantly, have a guess who else you're training? Yourself. Yeah? Because you know it inside out. Really important. Okay. The next step in pillar number 2 is your guarantee. If you have one, awesome. If you don't have one, look at probably putting one in place. The reason being, you back your products and your services. It shows confidence in your own products and services. The next step is it reverses risk. It reverses risk of your customer, especially if you're going out to an audience that's cold, they don't know you. So if you have a guarantee and you back your products and services, the risk is taken away from them. Does that make sense? Yeah? Does everybody get that? So for instance, we have a guarantee with our program Vortex. You have a 30-day money-back guarantee. But we have action clauses. You come onto the program, you do the work that is scheduled. Once you've done the work, and if you haven't got the result, you can ask for your money back. Yeah? Does that make sense? If you haven't done the work, then you don't trigger the clauses in the guarantee. Yeah? But think about what you could guarantee. As I said, it reverses the risk, and it makes selling a little bit easier as well. So competence. So when you're going out to your audience, make sure you do know your topic. Make sure that you know your service. You don't have to be Einstein. Here's the thing. You just have to be one step ahead of the customer. Yeah, some people believe, oh, until it's perfect, until I've got this, until I've got that, till I'm a PhD, or till I've got, BSc honours and da-da-da-da-da. They believe it's like, I need. You only actually need to be one step ahead. And that's the truth. Yeah, you can look at some of the most famous entrepreneurs, like people like Richard Branson. He's a high school dropout. Yeah, dyslexia. Yeah, sometimes we put so much onto what we need when actually what we need to do is take the action. Does that make sense? Cool. So stay one step ahead of your customer. So pillar number 3 then, so we are moving forward. How to achieve your income goals and every month with predictability and certainty. Now most people in business have this thing, peaks and troughs, yeah? Does anybody, or you can just nod your head if you've been through that. I won't get you to hold your hands. Cool. All right. This is the pain of a lot of business owners, and it can be solved. So let me take you through pillar number 3 of how to solve this with consistency. You need to look at the price of your products, yeah? And I've come across this a lot, especially with small business owners and coaches, actually. Like I said, that's my target audience. I have some coaches who charge by the hour, and I'm like, no. Yeah, you move out of that, because that's called trading time for money. Where you've got to be is you've got to move away from price so people see your value. There is a difference. There's a price, there's value, because the value gets you to a result. Does that make sense? Yeah. So when you move yourself into a place of value, yeah, that changes your pricing. So I have on the screen here, there is a Rolls-Royce. Everybody recognize that brand, yeah? and there is a BMW 7 Series, and they both sit, in the technical terms, on the same chassis. They're owned by the same company. Yeah? The chassis is the frame that the body sits on. Does that make sense? Yeah, they share common components. This car, however, is 3 times more than the BMW. Yeah? So why don't people just go out and get the BMW, which is an awesome car, about £100,000 spec'd up, instead of paying 300 for the Rolls Royce? But it's cheaper, does the same thing, A to B, you know, leather seats, all the rest of that stuff. But why don't these guys just buy the BMW? Because people actually want that premium. Yeah? So if you're ever out there saying we're cheaper than this, cheaper than that, I would say to you it's probably not the best language to be using. Because when you say cheap, they think the service or the product will be cheap or inferior as well. So be mindful of what you're putting out there. So your income goals should be aligned to you having more premium products if you can. If you're selling other products, what can you add on to that to increase your average sale? This will help you to move to the next level. Set yourself monthly, weekly targets. Yeah, let that add up to 90 days and then the whole year, 12 months. That's what's going to get you to your target. So sales time. Who schedules sales time in their business? Okay. Who does sales when it just needs to happen? Cool. The first one's the best thing. Yeah. You set up consistency. You set up routine. Yeah. Every Wednesday is my sales day. I'm actually here today speaking, and have a guess what it is. Funny, isn't it? If I'm not out speaking, I'm in the office making calls, reaching out to people. So if it's not scheduled in, it won't happen. If you haven't got people to speak to, what partners could you approach? Joint venture partners, strategic partners. Maybe there's, as an example, like there's some printers in the room. Yeah. Maybe if you're a marketing company, you share, you know, the same types of customers, but you serve them in different ways. Who can you partner with that has your customer, but you don't step on each other's toes, but you could make money together by referring, yeah, by partnering. Look at that. Different ways to get to customers, and it's always easier if somebody refers you in, if you've had referrals before. So when you have a partnership, you don't have to go through the convincing stage as much. Does that make sense? Cool. So pillar number 4, how to overcome overwhelm and stay focused while building your business. So it's pretty straightforward, and I've got the countdown picture on here, because what you're aiming for is when you put £1 into your marketing, you're trying to get £2 out. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah. Return on investment, somebody said earlier. Yeah? That's what you're looking for. £1 in, £2 out. That's the number that we start with. So to know your numbers, you've got to start with an idea. So if somebody, as an example, oh, this is my update popping up. Postpone for 1 hour. So imagine you have a £2,000 service. Does anybody have a £2,000 or £1,000 service, just out of interest? Does anybody have a £500 service or a product? About £500. About £200. Okay, cool. This is going to be interesting for you guys then. Yeah, which is everybody. Look at what profit you make after your costs and wages. So I've used a typical example here. £2,000 product, there's a 60% profit margin. Out of that, you're going to get £1,200 profit. Yep. So let's say we use 20% for ad budget for marketing. Yeah, that works out to £960 net. So we're about to invest £240. Yeah, is everybody following that? Cool. So your customer acquisition cost, let's just say we put it out on Google AdWords or we do Facebook advertising. Yeah, and we just figure out that to acquire a customer, it's costing us £20. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. So you're looking for, as an example, 10 leads. Yeah. Maybe it's in a month, maybe it's in a week. It doesn't really matter about the time, just depends on your type of business. And off the back of that, you close 1 in 5. So that means for every 5 clients that come across you, 1 of them signs up to buy your product. Does that make sense? Yeah? So by knowing your numbers, in this particular example, that means for this type of business with 10 leads, we'd close 2 clients in whatever period, whether it's a week or a month. That would bring in £2,000. Yeah? So if we brought in that in this particular example, where for every client we're making £960 net, nearly £1,000, that would be £1 in, £4 out. Do you get that? So what I'd say to you guys is look at what you're doing. Yeah. So when I put in there costs and wages, include your time as well. Yeah. Because we don't often do that. I didn't do it a lot when I was in my business in the early days. But even if you put your hourly rate at the minimum wage, put it in there and have it as a number, it gives you a starting point. Because if your marketing's not saying that and it's saying £1 in, 50p out, then you need to look at it. Does that make sense? Cool. This is the important thing, guys. You might be passionate about what you do, but you've got to know the numbers. You need to find a passion about the numbers for you to grow the passion about your main thing that you do in your business. Yeah, I said to you there's no magic wand, but there is a clear strategy, and I've learnt this from what I've done, and I've learnt this from the successful people out there. So I'm just going to skip through this to number 5. How to create a premium product and service, and something called EBM content. EBM content stands for education-based marketing content, and this has the potential, as it says, or has potential clients pre-sold. So that means they already like the idea of why they should work with you. So this is an example of a lady who came onto our program and she pre-sold £6,000 worth of stuff before her program or service was ready. Pre-sold. You're probably thinking, wow, pre-sold. I'm going to make this simple in a minute. So she created a course. She deals in hydrotherapy for dogs. Yeah. The course is £2,000, and she had 3 clients buy it before it was ready. Yeah. Have a guess who do that kind of stuff as well. You ever heard of a company called Apple? And they pre-sell you to buy it before it's ready. Yeah, same principle, but not many people use it, but yet the big companies do. So when you pre-sell something, you're actually filling up your bank ahead of time. Does that make sense? Yeah, really great strategy, and Barbara used it and it works pretty well in her business. So make sure you understand the goals, aspirations and dreams of your clients. Yeah, this is what allows you to pre-sell. What is it that they want? Understand them emotionally, understand them, what their pains, their fears, their darkest secrets are. Get into the minds of your clients if you truly want to sell more, if you truly want to market in the right way. So you come up with stuff like how to do this, solutions. You may have, has anybody ever downloaded like a free book and you know you opt in? That's a how-to solution. That's the first step in EBM. So this helps them fix their problems, and it helps position you as an authority. And an authority simply means they look at you as an expert, whether it's an expert cake maker or an expert marketer. Yeah? Create content that people can consume. So I have this graph here, and it simply says, this was done back in 2016, but the most effective marketing tactics that you can use online are your website and email. Yeah? So this survey shows that. Not Facebook, not social media, your website and email. You know why? Because that's the place where you convert people. Simple. So the mindset of your customers, there's 3 mindsets. There's cold, so they have a problem, but they aren't aware of a solution. There is warm, so they know they have a problem and they're seeking more information. And then you have hot. The problem is causing pain and they must fix it in their life or business right now. So what this should tell you is that in your business, there are some people who they have the problem now, so they're ready to buy now. So don't be consumed with the idea we need to warm them up. There's some people who need a fix now. If you have a puncture today, you need your tire fixed right now. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other people, they might not have a puncture for the next 2 months. They're the people who you warm up so that the next time when they do, they're aware of you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So look at the 2 different types of customer. Don't think everybody has to be warmed up. I remember being once in a sales scenario where I'd done the sale in 10 minutes for like a £4,000 project. And it was the first time I'd done it that quick, 10 minutes. And inside of me, I was like, no, I still need to do my presentation. Yeah, but there are some people who just want it fixed now. So I'm saying to you, be mindful of that. Yeah, some people want to buy now. Don't think that you have to, you know, kind of warm them up for months on end, weeks on end. Yeah, there are people who want your stuff now as well. So EBM, this is it in action. EBM is all about scaling the risk of your prospect and increasing trust. So has anybody ever put a post out on social media? Done a Facebook Live, that kind of thing. Cool, that's your first step, it's free. They don't have to move from the platform. The next thing, has anybody ever done a blog? Yeah, you're sending them away from Facebook or away from LinkedIn. There's a bit of risk, they have to click and go to your website, yeah? Anybody ever created a checklist, cheat sheet, ebook, or a survey? Now they've got to put their name and email in, a bit more risk for them, yeah? But if they're risking that, they're probably trusting you more. Make sense? Has anybody ever done a seminar, something like this, or a webinar? Yeah, even more risk, they're spending time with you. They've traveled, yeah? Increased trust. Final one is, anybody ever done a strategy call? Somebody mentioned it earlier actually, yeah, it was Nina. Yeah, strategy call, discovery call, sales call. Anybody ever do that? Yeah, anybody ever sell on the phone? That's the ultimate trust builder. Yeah, that's what EBM is all about, understanding that you take people through this journey, but there are some people who can jump straight to that call. I just want you to bear that in mind. So, this was just a quick example of an opt-in page if you've never seen one, but I think everybody nodded in the room, which is cool. So pillar 6, how to create a premium product, service and EBM content that has potential clients pre-sold and why they should work with you. So the key thing here is looking at research, yeah? Research is part of your strategy. You need to understand your customers. So look on places like Amazon, books, magazines. Go to Google, use Google Keyword Planner. It's free to use. Look at places like groups on Facebook, groups on LinkedIn. Last week I did a sale for £4,000 just by putting a post in a group on LinkedIn. Yeah, I put a post on there about why Facebook ads are difficult for coaches. Yeah, that's my target audience, remember? It's always in my messaging. So somebody responded to it and I commented, and then the way that they commented, I could see they needed help. So I went onto their profile, found their website, sent them an email on their website. I said, hey, if you need any more assistance, let me know. She replied and she said she did. So we booked a call in, spoke to her for about 30 minutes, sent her on a merry way. And I had one final thing at the end, which was, but if you do need to take this to the next level, we can book in another call. So we did that, and the next call lasted 15 minutes, and she signed up for a £4,000 program, which was our Vortex program. Yeah, I think total time when you add it up was like 2 hours to get that client in, because I wrote the article, put it out, phone calls. Does that make sense? Yeah, £1 in, £2 out. That's exactly it, guys. So look at your competitors as well. Research is key. There's another great place. Facebook has this tool called Audience Insights. Facebook let you search its entire database, and you can then find out if there are people on there who want what you've got. They have this filtering option, yeah. And on here, you can filter by country, locality, age, gender, interest, whether people buy after clicking on ads, whether you're targeting people who are employed by a company. Yeah, there's so many things that you can do to target your customers. So the key thing with Facebook ads is focus on your headline. Yeah, look at the image that you're using. Does it stand out? Does it disrupt them? People aren't searching on Facebook. What they're doing is wasting time on Facebook. So you need to stand out and stop them in their tracks. People searching on Google, however, are searching for solutions. Here's a quick example of how we built an audience from video views. Has anybody watched a video on Facebook? Yeah. This one shows you that when you advertise your video on Facebook, you can track the views. And in this particular example, we had over 75% of people watch a video, which resulted in 1,900 people. Yeah. So the final pillar, guys. Pillar 7, how to remove hard selling when enrolling clients using our proven secret discovery call process. And it's very straightforward. Remember the lady I told you about last week, £4,000. Yeah, I sold it on the phone. Yeah, she didn't come for a meeting. In my old marketing business, I would go out and see people, drive there and, you know, hope I win the business, do a contract, do a quote, send the quote to them, and then hope and pray and like, oh, I wonder how warm that was, and you know, how was the vibe. This is going to show you. So it's a great quote from a guy that I really like, Zig Ziglar. People don't buy for logical reasons. People buy for emotional reasons. Yeah, trust, like you. they're probably the two key things that I have: trust and see the results. And you know, logic makes people think, emotion makes people act. That's it. So this was Pin, one of our clients, and I just want to take you through this. He's a driving instructor. He came to me 4 years ago. He said, Leon, I want to grow my business to whatever size he said at the time. And I said, cool. And so recently he came back to me, things are going well, but he's busy, he's booked up, you know, doing driving lessons. He said, Leon, I want to grow how many driving instructors I actually have in my business so I'm not the only driver. I said, great. He came onto our program, and within 10 weeks he'd signed up 6 new drivers to his training program to train them to be driving instructors. His training program was £1,800, yeah, which we helped him to create. 10 weeks, he'd made £11,000, yeah, just positioning, guys. Now he has 19 drivers in his business, yeah, and he came to me just one-man band 4 years ago, 19 drivers. So have a script, guys. It's the same thing. So when you do sales calls, enrollment calls, strategy calls, have a script. It's important. Hollywood actors also have a script, yeah. And it's not to sound like a robot, it's to be, you know, appealing, to come across and win Oscars, yeah, for the performance. And so there's 3 phases of the script, and this will complete the talk for today, guys. There's the pre-call phase, qualify people. Speak to them on the phone before the actual sales call, or send out a survey or get them to fill something in, like a questionnaire, yeah. Find out who they are, don't waste your time. That's the key thing. Yeah, and it will position you. I've sent surveys out to people, and just because I sent the survey, they were like, wow, you're so professional. I had to fill in questions. I've never done this before with anybody else. Cool. Yeah, I didn't want to waste my time on a sales call for an hour to find out that actually weren't right for me in the first place. So pre-call, qualify. During the call, find out what their biggest goal is, their #1 goal that they want to achieve in their business. That's what I do. So you've got to find what their biggest goal is in your business. Cakes, what's the biggest goal? Maybe it's a wedding, maybe it's a birthday party. Find out why it's so important to them. Yeah, emotions, they're going to buy the cake. Yeah. So during the call is finding out about the goals. The second thing is, what's their problem? So we understand the goals, but what's the problem preventing them? Yeah. Does that make sense? What's the biggest problem going to be in somebody changing mortgage provider? Oh, the hassle of paperwork and all that crap. Yeah. Take it out of the equation for them. Yeah. Build it into your solution. So then say that we have that solved. This is what our product or our service does. Yeah. Then the wrap up. The wrap up is, well, based on what your problems are and your goals are, yeah, I can see that you need this solution, and our solution takes care of this for you. Is this something that you'd like to find out more about? Just wait. If they say yes, they're now giving you the permission to tell them about the solution that you have. And at that point, you can then say, well, here's the product, here's the service we have, this is what we've done for other people, and here is the price. Would you like to make one payment? Yeah. Or if it's a higher price, maybe you'd like to make multiple monthly payments. And that's it, guys. Yeah, it's very straightforward. Results. So I was going to show you a few results. If you can see this, guys, we have a couple of people who've been through this a marketing strategy where they were able to sign up and get multiple £2,000 sales. And this is a screenshot from a dashboard on Stripe, which is like PayPal, where we take money. So bringing it together, guys, that's the 7 pillars. I want you to understand that the key thing in all of this is understanding your strategy. It's not how much time you spend in the tactics. You can get into that once you know the strategy is right. Define your market, define your niche, and go do it, guys. Yeah, I've got a final story. There was 2 guys who grew up together. They went to college, they had the same opportunities. They were pretty bright, you know, brighter than normal, above average. And 25 years later, they were called back for a high school reunion. Yeah. The difference was that one was a manager for a department within a company. The other guy was the owner of the company. Yeah. And the only difference in that is that one went and got the strategy and found out the way. The other didn't. He settled. So what I'm saying to you guys, if you're ready to go to the next level, I'm here to help you. It's Leon Streete from businessownerelevation.com. Thank you for your time.